So let me start with the topic today that we're going to talk about in the next 1 hour. We're going to talk about the role of a Scrum Master in safe transformation. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite topics to talk, because I always feel that Scrum Master's role is not as per what is defined, right? Scrum Master role is much more than what not defined, what is being practiced, right? It's much more than what has been practiced. So I'm going to share my views on what the Scrum Master should be doing, right? So one of the things that I always think, or one of the points that I want you to consider, is the Scrum Master that I'm defining today is not going to be the Scrum Master 5 years from now. Yeah, if whatever that I'm saying that this is what a Scrum Master should do. If you are a Scrum Master and if you are going to do that, and that means you're not going to be a Scrum Master in the next 3 to 5 years. You're going to be probably a agile coach or RTE or STE, or even I've seen even a Scrum Master becoming a kind of very senior coach in the organization. So I have seen in my life. So that's a kind of a growth that you can see in your career. So I'm going to talk about all that what a Scrum Master can do, what impact that Scrum Master can make. Yeah, and uh, so that's a quick context. Okay, so those who don't know me, I'm sure there are quite a few people that who are here know me, and I know you, you know me, so you don't need any big introduction. Those who don't know me, I'm Jayaprakash Prabhakar. I'm a SPC and enterprise agile coach, and I have around 25 years of experience. Started as a developer, and managed a large team over a period, right? And then by choice I became an agile coach because I liked agile so much when I was in Intel. And then I became an entrepreneur. This starts since 2014 or beginning of 15 that I've been an entrepreneur, running agile and safe consulting and training as part of my business. And I've helped in safe agile and safe transformation for many companies like Siemens, Bosch, Target, IBM, eBay, Intel, McAfee, Trivium, iQuanti. There are few to name, right? I was fortunate to work with some of these companies, right? And trained over 2,000 professionals on safe certification and 10,000 plus people on agile overall, right? And launched many complex safe programs in the past. And happily married with 2 kids, and I'm right now in Bangalore. Yeah, so that's about myself. So let me not waste my too much of time about my introduction. So let's quickly talk about maybe 1 minute quick introduction about SAFE. SAFE is nothing but Scaled Agile Framework, if you don't know what is SAFE. Yeah, so Scaled Agile Framework. How do you scale agility, right? So there are frameworks, and this is one of the very popular frameworks. It's proven framework for a decade now, or over a decade, right? That has been in existence, and it helps solve very very complex problems in a scaled agile manner. Yeah, so whatever I'm going to share in the next 45 to 50 minutes is not a theory. It is something that I have practiced. I have seen people doing it as Scrum Masters, and I have seen people grow. I've seen people transforming the company, starting as a Scrum Master, and and evolve, and they become they make a huge impact to the company. Yeah, so it's all my experience. Yeah, so safe is like as I said, it's a skilled agile framework. It has got multiple layers, right? You can see that there is a essential safe, which is basically for transforming a program of 50 to 125 people, right? We call it agile release train. Yeah, it's the smallest a construct of safe. Yeah, essential. What if we have a large solution which has got say 500 people working together for one large solution, like a medical equipment, or a banking system, or an insurance company, insurance system, and so on, or ERP system. So you probably need a large solution. Yeah, so you can have some 2,000 people working here, right? Scale, safe as a provision to the scale, such a big large solution. Yeah, and there is also a layer called portfolio. So where portfolio layer is for the entire portfolio to move to safe, right? It's by choice organization. Actually, the portfolio can move to safe using lean portfolio management as a competency. And that brings in very powerful tools and techniques to actually enable the entire portfolio to be a safe organization. Yeah, the quick results that if you see what results you can expect is definitely time to market, right? Reduction of time to market, reduction in overall time to market, right? And then improvement, definitely visible improvement in quality, productivity increase, and definitely employee engagement, right? Not employee satisfaction alone, it's employee engagement as well. Employees are connected, they're interested, they want to do a lot more just because this environment around them are so good that they're so positive. Yeah. So this is a result I have seen in multiple programs. Yeah. Okay. So today's topic, right? I'm going to break this into 5 smaller pieces, right? SM's role in a safe transformation. Yeah. So the first one is enable team and technical agility. Yeah. So team, one quick input is I'm not looking at your Q&A, your questions or your chat points. So what I'll do is let me go through all these slides, and definitely I'll spend maybe 5-10 minutes at the end on the Q&A, so that there is a flow of the presentation can go right. So the first one is definitely what do I say? First one is enable team and technical agility, right? Scaling without agility is a disaster, right? So a Scrum Master starting at the team level definitely should focus on enabling the team agility and technical agility, right? Second one, live by SAFe principles, right? SAFe has got wonderful 10 principles. Lean and agile principles have been brought into in a SAFe, as principles. And are we Scrum Masters, as Scrum Master, are we living by SAFe principles? Do we even aware or do we even have idea about what are those principles? How do I implement, right? So definitely live by principles is second one. Third is how effective am I as a Scrum Master in preparation and facilitation of a PI planning? PI planning is one of the very PI, program increment. If you don't know what is PI is a program increment, and it's basically a cadence for a large team of 100 people who come together and do a planning and then execute, and then deliver value to customer faster. Now, how do you do preparation for a PI, right? How do you do facilitation for the PI planning, right? So that's another critical aspect. What's the role of a Scrum Master? Many times I see that Scrum Masters don't really focus on this, or they don't really think that they have a big role to play. Actually, Scrum Masters have a good role to play here. Yeah. The fourth is execution. Obviously, Scrum Masters role definitely comes here. Collaborate and execute the whole program increment, right? What do the Scrum Masters do? That's a fourth aspect that I want to address today. And the last one is the role of a Scrum Master in a cultural transformation. So when I say cultural transformation, I'm talking about transformation can be multi-layered. Transformation can be just a process transformation, right? Doing a daily Scrum, doing a sprint planning or iteration planning, review, retrospective, backlog refinement. It's a transformation, but it is more at the process level. What does cultural transformation mean? Cultural transformation is something sustainable. Yeah. So we'll also talk about cultural transformation. Yeah. Okay. So now let me start with the first one, enabling a team and technical agility, right? As I said, right, it's all about, are you starting at your team level? What is your role as a Scrum Master in a Scrum team, right? So let's look at this structure. It's a very simple picture that I have, right? And it's a Scrum team. On the left, you see developers. On the right, you see product owner, and this smart person somewhere in the middle is a Scrum Master. So if I look at these 3 roles historically, developers, even in waterfall, let's go back 1980s, 1990s, right? When we were in true waterfall development, these developers have come from waterfall. Yeah, right. For example, I was in a UI team, I was in a backend team, I was in a testing team. I was part of some team, and today I'm part of a development team in a Scrum team. Yeah, so that's how we evolved. Yeah, on the left side. On the right side, definitely somebody was giving a requirement. Yeah, the product owner. Right, a customer was giving a requirement, right? Or somebody who wants this product, right, or the features to be developed, have given the requirements. So this also come from a legacy, right? Definitely it has come from waterfall. The role that you see in the middle, Scrum Master, does not come from anywhere. That's the beauty of this role, right? First, if you are a Scrum Master, you should be happy that you are actually doing a very good. You are into something which is very critical for the organization. Yeah, many times we don't realize it, but this role can actually transform the company. Yeah. So Scrum Master role is not a project manager role that has become a Scrum Master. It is not a program manager role that has become a Scrum Master. Scrum Master role is unique. Scrum Master, I'm a master of Scrum. I am here to make sure that Scrum is in place. Agile practices are put in place. right? I'm here to make sure that teams are moving forward. I'm here to make sure that my impediments are removed, right? And so on. This is the role of a Scrum Master, right? So it's a very unique role. So please remember your role is unique, definitely even in a Scrum team, yeah. Like and so what does it mean? We also do a unique, our job is also unique. So the way we operate ourselves should be definitely unique. Yeah, it cannot be like my facilitation is just conducting, Scrum meetings, right? Call people for a meeting and then I'm done with it. That's not the role. That's a very, very small piece of a Scrum Master role, right? Now let me go to the fundamentals. Look at Scrum Guide. Yeah, Scrum Guide is something that was published in 1997 and it evolves over a period, right? It has been very mature. It's 25 years now, right? Now the Scrum Guide talks about three roles, right? Scrum Master, Product Owner, and development team. Now, if you look at the Scrum Guide, if you go to this link that bottom I have given, scrumguide.org, the Scrum Master has a role to play for three different roles. Definitely one, development team. Scrum Master is responsible for the development team. Scrum Master is responsible for the product owner, and Scrum Master is responsible for the organization. So what it also means is you as a Scrum Master are responsible for organizational transformation. Okay? This is not SAFe that says that. It is a Scrum, fundamental Scrum. Now in SAFe, we will also see much more responsibility, right? In a transformation of a agile release train, what's the role of a Scrum Master, right? So now I'm not going to go through each of these line items. Please, if you have not read Scrum Guide, please read it, right? For me, Scrum Guide and SAFe, these principles and values and all that is something like Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavad Gita, you understand, not based on what is written there, it's based on your maturity. Yeah. Every time I read, I get some new message. Yeah. So I've read probably Scrum Guide over 100 times till now. And I don't know how many times I've read SAFe Principles, maybe 1,000 times, right? Keep reading that. So keep looking at it. Whenever I read, I get some new message which I didn't know yesterday. All right. So that's a maturity. So if you have not gone through Scrum Guide, strongly recommend please go through. You're a Scrum Master, you understand Scrum Guide line by line thoroughly. Yeah. Some of these bullet points are very, very, it just gives you very clear responsibility of a Scrum Master, right? So if you have read it already, try reading again this weekend. Yeah, you will actually, trust me, you will actually message me saying that, hey, actually I got some new message which I didn't know or I didn't think about it in the past. Yeah, that's the beauty of these these frameworks and these principles of these frameworks. Yeah. Now I'm moving away. So first is, for sure, you as a Scrum Master adhere to some of these bullet points. Yeah, and all of these mentioned here as coaching a team in a self-managed and cross-functional, in cross-functionality and self-organization. It's not a simple thing. Yeah, this is huge. Yeah, making sure definition of done is followed, right? And making sure effective product goal definition and product backlog management is effective. This is one thing that we struggle even today in the industry in terms of managing a backlog, right? And empirical product planning, right? Being empirical, agile is all about empirical, right? And how are we empirical? Is my product owner empirical? So this is definitely an important. So when you do a transformation, we focus on people and people focus on the product. Like, the team focus on the product. I focus on the team focus on the product. I focus on product owner, the product owner focus on the product. The product development will be wonderful, right? So your job is to make sure that all these, the roles are, including the organization, are flourished because of your presence and your implement Scrum, right? Now, Scrum Master role. Now I'm just bringing the smallest or the basic essential configuration of SAFe. Yeah. So this is basic configuration of SAFe, and this is where the Scrum Master role is. So Scrum Master role now in SAFe is even more bigger, right? If you see Scrum Master collaborating with the Agile team, definitely. I'm part of the Agile team. I'm working with my developers. I'm working with my product owner. Now, I also have a slightly bigger role to play with, collaborating with my RTE, release train engineer. Right, release train engineer is a Scrum Master for the release train. Right, I'm a chief Scrum Master for the release train. If I'm an RTE, so how do you, as a Scrum Master, collaborate with the RTE? Right, what is your role in collaborating with the product manager or a system architect? Right, definitely there is definitely a role to play, and Scrum Master plays a role in entire SAFe, execution, like, the PI planning, right? The whole thing here, if you see the continuous delivery pipeline, right? Continuous integration, deployment, and, PI planning, PA execution, IP iteration, Scrum Master has a lot of role to play, right? So SAFe Scrum Master is much more than a Scrum Master for one single agile team, yeah? Because the role definition is much more expanded, big. Okay, so Now let's look at, right? So now, before going to live by safe principles, I want to see that, enabling team and technical agility. How do you measure the team agility is good, right? There are multiple ways you can do that. One is definitely build an agility assessment or measurement. Like, how good is my agile team in terms of cross-functional, you know, skills, in terms of incremental value delivery, in terms of self-organization, in terms of predictability, and so on. Build some, as a Scrum Master, build some basic assessment and then reflect with the team and measure always, are we improving, right? This is one part. Second is, there are also tools like Tuckman, right? Tuckman, there's a Tuckman model. It tells you, like, whenever we go through a new way of life, right? You bring a new process in place, you bring a new team in place. They always go through this Tuckman model of forming, storming, norming, and performing. Yeah. So you can use that as another tool as a Scrum Master to measure where are we as my team. Is my team in storming phase, or is my team in a norming phase? Is it somewhere in the middle? Right now, the tool also says that this framework also says how to move from storming to norming. Right, you can take some actions. Right, I'm not going to share all this. There's a long list of tools that you can use. There is another tool that you can use. Five dysfunctions of a team. Right, there's a wonderful book called Five Dysfunctions of a Team that actually says, how do you identify the dysfunctions in your team? Right. So your role as a Scrum Master in a team is not just to facilitate your team, to facilitate your team events. It is all of this, making sure that your team is high performing. Your team is eliminated all these dysfunctions. Right. There's a dysfunction called trust. There is a dysfunction called avoidance of conflict. Right. People don't want an accountability. Right. Result. Right. There are dysfunctions. Identify which dysfunction is big in your team and then start removing it. Right. So that's where this team and technical agility role comes in. Now let's move to safe. As I said, safe role is much more than just one team. So I'm just bringing the safe principles, right? And I'm a big fan of these principles because I've seen huge results in the past when I looked at the principles and start implementing it, right? And the organization also, the leaders focused on working on principles. I've seen a huge result, right? So now these are the 10 principles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, take you through each of these principles, right? Quickly, how these principles are connected to a Scrum Master in your role. Yeah. So take an economic view means what, and what is your role in this principle? Yeah. So let me take first principle, take an economic view, right? The principle says, look at all these aspects when you look at economic view from these aspects. What's the lead time of a feature? If you build one feature, is the lead time of a feature is 1 iteration, 2 iterations, or is it 3 months? Right? What if it is 3 months and you know it's too long, or 4 months for a feature? Now, can you reduce it? Now, obviously, you can reduce it. How? There are ways to do it. We'll talk about it, some of those soon in the next few minutes. And is that role of a Scrum Master? Obviously. Right? You can actually look at it, measure, saying that, hey, what was my lead time? What value we are delivering? Are we validating that the value that we deliver is the highest critical value for the customer? Right? What's the development expense? Can I focus on reducing this? Do I see any risks from business and technology standpoint that I need to eliminate? Or I'm part of this community called Scrum Master in a safe transformation. And how do we together we can eliminate the risks that is going to occur soon if we don't take care of it, right? All this. And delivering incrementally itself will automatically build, as you build, right, the features you continue to deliver. So that over a period you actually achieve what the customer wants, step by step, right? Not at one shot. The reason is market value of a feature, right, over a time goes down. Yeah, the life of a product is not too high compared to how it was in the past. Yeah, so and we are in a discovery mode. We keep discovering. So you have an idea that as a product company, and then if you need to release, you have to release much more faster. Now this is agility. Now the role of a Scrum Master is to bring agility, right? Like can I incrementally deliver every iteration at least once, right? Can I deliver multiple times in iteration? Next step is, can I deliver every day multiple times? Right? There are organizations like Amazon or Netflix or Google's. Actually, they release thousands of times a day, right? And that's called continuous delivery pipeline, right? Now that's a demand, right? That's a requirement, right? That from the business, but they are also satisfying the customers by releasing it, right? What is my customer's demand? Is my customer wanting release once in a month? If the answer is yes, okay, am I releasing once in a month? If I'm not releasing it, how can I bring that once in a month? If the answer is yes, now again I'll ask, if the customer is my customer asking for a release once in a week? If yes, can I release that? So keep looking at release on demand. If the customer wants this, can I release it? Right? And can I release it incrementally? Right? So another aspect that as a Scrum Master you should look at is high impact indicators for your release. Right? What are the areas that can actually impact you from a an economic point of view? Cost of late defect fix. Irrespective of whether it's a waterfall or agile, this is all something that really impacts us in our product development, right? A defect it's injected today, it is fixed today, is good. Injected today and fixed tomorrow, yeah, there is a delay. If it is fixed after 3 months or 6 months, it's too much of a cost because you would have created a lot of regression issues around that. Same thing, branching, right? Do I have a CI system that I can actually check in my code immediately? I write a code, I check in, it gets added to my main branch. I'm more trunk-based development, not really branch. Yeah, the late merge with too many branches is a problem, right? Delayed performance is any non-functional testing that happens late in the cycle. The defect comes. Defect is not a code defect. Defect is always an architectural defect, design defect. It's too expensive to fix an architecture and after 6 months, 1 year of your product development, right? And this is one area where NFRs is an area where we don't really focus on. What do you say? We really don't focus on the NFRs from the beginning, right? Commonly, an area that is not, really focused. So as Scrum Master, can you play a role in fixing it? Yes, right? You definitely have. Test automation, right? Automation pyramid. Scrum Master is a coach, right? So if you see yourself as a coach, you have a lot of things to play like this, right? All of this, like test automation, right? Are we focusing on the right automation? First of all, are we focusing on automation? Agile without automation is a failure, right? Scaling agility without automation is a disaster, very clearly disaster. If you don't focus on automation and you continue to build the product, if one person writes a code, right, and writes 10 lines of code one day, in a month, you get 200 lines of code. If 10 people write in a team, you get 2,000 lines. There are 100 people writing a code, right, 20,000 lines of a code, yeah, in a month. Now, if you don't manage this growth without a good automation, it will be a big disaster. So, are you as a Scrum Master contributing to your team in terms of bringing automation thinking? Right? Are you coaching your teams? Are you bringing the value? Do you know the power of automation, first of all, right? Do you know, like, what is automation pyramid mean, right? And can you teach this to the teams, right? Because you're a coach, you're also a teacher, yeah. So economic value of enablers, that's another one. Yeah. So these are all principle number one. I'm talking about only one principle. See the amount of, that involvement that you can have as a Scrum Master in making an impact. Yeah. It's a huge impact you can make. Principle two, apply systems thinking. Have end-to-end systems thinking, right? For example, take the example, the first and second lines here. Code, test, fix, test, and say done. The first flow takes 3 months, 3 iterations, yeah, which is like 10 days per iteration. So it takes 30 working days, which is like 1.5 months. Now, do we need this long time? Just by looking at a value streaming from one end to another and identification of waste, you can actually reduce this to a shorter time, right? Are we measuring it? Do we have systems thinking? This is systems thinking as a Scrum Master, right? How is my backlog flow? Now, the backlog is flowing, it takes X number of days or X number of weeks. Now, if it takes X number of weeks, can I optimize this, right? What can I improve, right? Where can you improve? The effort in coding and testing can be small, but maybe there's a lot of effort in waste here. Can you see? Like somebody is waiting for something. The tester is waiting for the code to be done, or the coding is done, tester is busy elsewhere. I've seen the organization is so structured in such a way that there are siloed skills. I'm a developer, you're a tester, and so on. The tester is busy somewhere else. Okay? And the tester comes and starts testing, and then developer has picked something else now. When the defect has to be fixed, developer is not available. So can we optimize and make sure that the cycle goes less, right? And what do you optimize, right? Optimize the real bottleneck. So you may find multiple bottlenecks like this. Look at the big bottleneck here. This is the biggest bottleneck, right? How much ever flow comes in, this is going to stop the whole flow. Yeah. So the biggest bottleneck can be probably here, fixing and testing, or biggest bottleneck is here. Focus on removal of waste here. The 7 ways of lean, right? You can actually, the waste can be waiting, the waste can be overproduction, the waste can be the defect, right? All of these. So look at the waste and then really remove the waste. Yeah. So for that, you need a systems thinking. Just take one user story. Look at this. How much time it takes? Take second. Take some bunch of user stories. In each of these measure how long it takes, and then you will know exactly how long it takes to uh, deliver and what can be optimized. Yeah. There's no rocket science. It is just that take one and do it. It's called value stream and value stream map, right? If you don't know what is value stream map, please read about it. Offline, if you want to know anything, please reach out to me. I can actually explain. I can take you through. It's a very beautiful concept. Has come from Lean, and that can actually help you improve your overall, system performance, right? Now, principle 4, right? Build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycles, right? Now, Agile is all about incremental and iterative, right? Agile is what? Incremental and iterative. So Scrum is incremental and iterative. What does it mean? In 2 weeks of iteration, I am incremental, I am iterative, right? I am working on on a daily basis, I am incrementally building something, right? I pick a story, I mean as a team, right? We pick a story, we design it, we develop it, we test it, we make sure it's working. Okay, it's done. Pick another story. First 2 days are done. Third day, I pick another story. Fifth day, story is done. Sixth day, another story. Seventh day, story is done. This is incremental. First, are we agile as incremental? Number one. Number two, from this principle, with fast integrated learning cycles, am I making sure that my team is integrating the code to a larger system? Like us, there are 10, 15 teams that are working together in the same agile release time. Are we integrating? Do we have any clear integration strategy, testing strategy? What to test at the story level? What to automate at the story level? What to test at the integration, like system level, right? What does integration mean? How often we should integrate, right? Should I build a CI pipeline, right? Do we need to have somebody who specializes in focusing on CI, right? Building the pipeline. Before that, do we have enough automation and tools to support the CI, to give me feedback, right? So this principle actually works so beautifully in terms of whole integration as a whole, right? And Scrum Master community can come together and actually transform the art by looking at this principle. Yeah. So the more integration points you have, the faster the risk is eliminated. Why? It's very simple. You are failing today, not tomorrow, right? It's not avoiding a failure. You are actually failing every day. Instead of failing tomorrow, or instead of failing after 2 weeks, if I write some 200 lines of code and I check in everything after 2 weeks, the 200 lines of code, chances are very high that it can actually break because a lot of other code integration has happened. Now, what if I integrate 20 lines of code every day? Simple, right? I may fail, but I will fail small. I will fail every day. I'll be able to absorb. I know that I've changed this 20 lines of code. It's breaking. I'll fix it probably in 5 minutes. I will learn something out of this today, right? Can we bring that thinking? So this is a mindset, right, with the developers. The role of a Scrum Master is to make sure that, hey, I will build a mindset of continuous integration. Failing fast is a culture. I will build as a Scrum Master that, this failing fast culture. And every time we fail, hey, wow, we failed. We learned it, right? We're not going to fail big, right? We failed small incrementally. And every time I failed, I learned it something and then now I'm improving, right? That this principle, implementation of this principle will bring the culture of that. Yeah. Okay. One of my very favorite principles is this: visualize, limit work in progress, reduce batch size, and manage queue length. Right? Look at these 3 pictures. Right? Look at the first, second, and third. Where do you see, in which picture here, that if you are one of the cars in any of these roads, which will take the longest time to reach your house, which will take the shortest time to reach your house? Assume that some scenario, some what do you say, the infrastructure is good, the roads are so good, very, very beautiful roads. You can see the roads, right? All the roads are very good, right? Very smooth. And your car is so good. You're like, best car in the world. Which car you can drive fast? In which of these environments? Obviously, it is third, isn't it? Right? This is where you can drive fast. Why? Because your flow is so good, right? You can just press accelerator and you can go to as much speed as possible. It can be 200 kilometer speed, yeah, if you want to. Why? Because you're allowed to go. In the second one, even if you want to go very fast, you have the best car here, but see how it is. It is stuck. There's a power of visualizing and managing the queue. This is a queue. You manage the queue in this way that you can really go fast. How would you do that, right? Let me take this is a, right, a layman example. Let me take one example of, a team working in a Scrum team delivering some value, right? In an iteration. Now your WIP limit, work in progress limit. WIP stand for work in progress. Yeah. Now WIP limit is 10, which means there are 10 stories that can be in progress. Work in progress limit is 10. Yeah. 10 stories can be in progress. When there are 10 stories are in progress, every engineer has one story, every developer has one story to work on. The culture of working together, the team culture, the collaboration, all these goes away because it's my story, it's your story, right? That's a behavior it comes. Now, the moment you reduce that, there are you can see in this image that there are some bottlenecks here. Yeah? Something is going to hit you when the WIP limit is reduced. The moment you WIP limit to 5, you will see that, hey, no, we cannot work on 5 because I am a developer who knows only UI development. I have no idea what is backend development. Or I don't know how to do automation. I'm not interested in testing, right? Now, these are the bottlenecks will come visible, right? Now, if you go to 3, it's going even more. Why? Because, hey, first 3 stories in the priority, all are backend stories. What will I do as a developer, as a UI developer? Nothing. So what obvious choice for me? Go select the 7th story or 8th story, which has UI work, right? When the WIP limit is 10, I'll go pick something. So too many things work in progress. Now, if I'm forced to be in one of the, we can pick only the three user stories, and the team picks the top 3. I'll be forced to sit with somebody and build a cross-functional skill. If I sit like this every iteration, at least twice, thrice, in a year, I also would have been a T-skilled person. I will become a T-skilled, right? The power of WIP. And it will also tell you, it will show you that, unless the 3 stories are done, you cannot pick the 4th one. You will see systemic bottlenecks, systemic impediments, right? Saying dependencies are not managed well and things like that. The team will actually learn to solve these problems. Yeah. So it's a very beautiful principle, limiting work in progress. And I've seen teams getting super results, but it's not very common practice because people get scared to do it, right? You as a Scrum Master, I'll tell you, please learn about this principle very well and implement this. You will see wonders, actually. Yeah, magic happening. Yeah. Now, principle 9, right? I'm just going to, I'm not taking all the principles. I'm picking some principles where you can really make an impact. Principle 9 talks about decentralized decision making, right? So what does decentralized decision making mean, right? Principle 8, previous principle, is about unlock the intrinsic motivation of knowledge workers. Principle 8 says knowledge workers, software work is a knowledge work. What does knowledge work mean? If I'm a knowledge worker, I know better than my manager, and my team knows better than me. Simple definition of knowledge worker. If software is a knowledge work, which means my team knows better than me. Now, is it not a good idea to think about decentralization? Right? I am skilled enough to manage certain things that my manager is doing today. Is it not a good idea to decentralize from my leader to myself? Right? So what does it mean? Can I work with my RTE and take some of those RTE responsibilities as a Scrum Master? I see some of the Scrum Masters, very, very smart folks that who actually pick it and then they grow, right? I will manage a Scrum of Scrum, right? Can you give me this chance to run a Scrum of Scrum, or can you help me? Can you allow me to just maybe manage the dependencies in a program board, right? I will take care of this. Hey, Scrum, RTE, can you help me do this, right? Why not? That's one part. Second is, can you also actively look at it? What can I decentralize from myself to my developers? Right? My developers are capable enough because I know they are knowledge workers, so they are better than me, right? By definition. So what can I decentralize so that they can actually manage? In the same way, system architects to developers, product managers to product owner to the team. There are a lot of opportunities. This is, as I said, you as a Scrum Master focus on people, and people will focus on the product will become much better, and the team will become much better, right? These are all the ways you can focus. You can look at what are the things that product owner is doing that I can try to decentralize some of these to my team, or Scrum Master to my team, from product manager to product owner, so that the organization gets a lot more power. Yeah, this is not easy in certain cultures, like for example, in my view, Indian culture, decentralizing is not that simple. Why? Culturally, we are very centralized. I listen to my parents. I listen to my elders. Yeah. And I'm proud about it. Yeah. And so I want my elders to take some decisions. What happens is is it wrong? Nothing. It's a value system. Yeah, there's a value. I'm proud of this, right? Listening to my elders, right? And I expect with the same thing with my kids also. Now, when it comes to organization, I operate like a same centralized because I've been trained to think like that. Decentralization is something that we have to think hard and then try hard to make it. But the beauty of decentralization, you will see that there are a lot more people who are capable of doing instead of just there are few who can do that because based on the role definition. Yeah. So so these are a few principles that I really liked, right? So and I'll go to the preparation and facilitation of PA planning, right? A little more now technical in the safe part of it. So if you see safe events, like there are Scrum events here and there are safe events. One of the safe events says prepare for PA planning. This is one of the very critical events for me, in my view, for effective PA planning. The PA planning has to be very effective. My preparation has to be good, right? So if you look at this picture, it shows that there is some arrow mark in the third iteration, arrow mark in the IP iteration. There is something called IP, innovation and planning iteration. There's some amount of preparation has to be done here, and some preparation has to be done here in IP iteration and continues from third to fourth to fifth. It happens, and end of the IP is when we do a PA planning. Yeah, if we don't manage this preparation very well, your PA planning is not going to be effective. Yeah, when the PA planning is not going to be effective, your whole execution is not going to be effective. Yeah. So if you as a Scrum Master and working in a safe environment, if you have not spent time on prepare for the PA planning, please, this is an area you can start looking at what is my role in PA planning, right? For example, next PA backlog will available for product owners to refine. Is my product owner getting a backlog from product manager by this mid of this PA for the next PA? Is he or she talking to the product manager and talking about getting it? Let me get a sense of it. Can team refine the backlog at least during the IP iteration, not on the day of a PA planning? Can team look at the backlog that's coming to the team, the features that they need to build, so that they get some, that one iteration time for them to digest, understand, estimate, or even not even estimate, at least slice into smaller stories, do some spike work, enabler work, and so on, so that the planning is very effective. If the planning is very effective, PA planning, 50% of your execution is already smooth. Yeah, because planning is going to make the whole journey so smooth. So for that, preparation is very critical. Yeah. Now let's talk about preparation is done well. What is your job as a Scrum Master in facilitating the PA planning? You are a Scrum Master of a Scrum team, one Scrum team or two Scrum teams in a large agile release team. Yeah, there are 15 teams. What's your role in that, right? Now, I'm sure some of you would have seen this picture. The feature is coming in, right? Now, first thing is, are we slicing the feature enough into smaller backlog that it's equisized to small backlog that can be incrementally built? In your own team, look at it, right? Are we building in such a way that we are incrementally delivering value? My first feature is delivered in the first iteration. Second feature is delivered in the second iteration. I'm limiting work in progress. We as a team not working on too many features in parallel, too many stories in parallel. Principle one, take highest priority first. Take an economic view is take highest priority feature, deliver. Don't work on too many, WIP limit, right? Principle 6, build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycles. Principle 4, you are actually implementing safe principles in your own team, right? Right. So next, do I have a backlog? Look at this. Do I have only user story as a backlog, the business backlog, or do we also have a backlog which is maintenance? Do we have capacity for maintenance? Do we have some enabler related backlog? I say enabler, some research or infrastructure enabler, right? Compliance enablers and so on, right? Do we also track our risks and dependencies effectively, right? Bring this structure, right? Now, velocity and load. Am I making sure that my team is not underloaded or overloaded? They are able to load in such a way that they are sustainably able to deliver. Scrum team works like a heartbeat, right? Another analogy that I have. What does heartbeat mean? Do you know your heart is beating? We know heart is beating because we are all listening here. Yeah, we are all talking and listening because if heart is not beating, we are not here. Yeah, heart is beating say 72 times a minute. What if it beats 120 for the next 20 minutes, right? Or 140 for the next 20 minutes. After that, it may not even beat. Yeah. So this is called sustainability. Heart continuously beats for years. Yeah. So do we have velocity like a heartbeat? Are we loading as per the velocity, right? The team is able to deliver consistently without getting tired, right? They're able to do that, right? Now, that's one part of it. Now, IP iteration. Am I helping my team to plan in such a way that we don't really build business features, but we are focusing on this iteration as per definition, like INP, innovation and planning? Am I creating an opportunity for my team to do innovations like hackathons, product innovation, technology innovation, right? You have your own space. Your team is with you. You can create then say, hey, why don't we do some product innovation or some hackathon work or some technology innovation, some spike work, right? Can we do some knowledge sharing, right? Teaching, learning from each other, right? See, these are the opportunities that you get. And SAFE has this wonderful thing in SAFE called IP iteration actually helps team to actually focus on something which is beyond just a business value delivery, right? Are we using that as a Scrum Master? Am I using this IP iteration powerfully? Right? Am I influencing my leaders to give the time for the team to do this and show the result to the leaders that, hey, this is, see my team, how many ideas, the product ideas they got, how many technology solutions they are able to, research they're able to solve and so on. Yeah. So are we helping the team in defining a very clear PA objective? Right? PA objective is what? Team level objective is a summary of what the team can actually planning or plan to deliver, right? In committed and uncommitted objectives. This needs a good coaching for the team. Under committing, over committing, both are not right. Coaching the team in this. Are we identifying the risk early enough during the PA planning itself? Enabling the team to think about risk and then start eliminating the risk. Agile teams deal with the risk on a daily basis, right? We don't have a risk register, like, have 50 risks and then have a big plan and, maintain it. Take a risk, deal with this. Take a risk, deal with this. Don't live with the risk for long, right? Are we so active? Now, if you focus on all of this and your team focus, product owner focus on backlog, the team focus on technology space, the team will become really good, self-managed, cross-functional team over a period. Yeah. So magic, there is no magic in SAFE except maybe for a PA planning. SAFE's definition it is. Yeah. So are we, right? The author of SAFE has given that definition. Are you doing a magic in a PA planning? What's your role? You have a big role to play. Yeah. There's another thing is Scrum checklist for effective planning. There's a very beautiful checklist that has been established, right? It's part of the toolkit, planning. Are we using that to make sure that I'm not missing out anything in my plan? Yeah. Okay. So this is about PA planning, and now I'm moving to collaborate and execute. Right. Now that the planning is done very effectively, how am I going to collaborate and execute my our whole PI with my team? Now I'm bringing the same picture. I'm going to bring other different elements in this picture. The first is you are an agile team inside a SAFE organization called Agile Release Team. Yeah. Now, are we agile? Are we doing iteration planning as per definition? Are we doing a daily stand-up? Right? Are we doing a backlog effectively? How is our iteration review? Right? Are we learning every iteration through, and improving continuously through retrospective? As a team, you are a Scrum team, so all agile values, principles, Scrum definition are strictly followed. Are you enabling the team to be effective in each of these? Right? The team's planning. In fact, the iteration planning, right? Backlog refinement kind of events are much more simpler in SAFE because you have already done a good PA planning. Yeah, you have planned for 5 iterations. Now I'm just getting into the one iteration. What I have kind of tentatively planned, I'm going to go a little deep on it. Now, what is my guidance as a team to make the plan more effective? How do we make sure that by doing this planning, we also have the objective of the PA planning to achieve? How are we connecting, right? Is the team thinking about the bigger objective when they do an iteration planning? Is the team thinking about in the review that, hey, we have achieved this, what else to achieve? Did we miss anything in our current iteration, what we were supposed to deliver as a goal? If we miss something, how is it going to impact our PI commitment, right? Which is PI objective. Now, bringing that context, yeah. First is definitely doing effective facilitator, effective coach for your Scrum team, the Scrum practices. Now, the next one is there are events, structured events in SAFE like Scrum or Scrum. You play a role in communicating the risks, the impediments that is coming on your way, stopping your team, right? Go immediately raise it as soon as possible so that your team is out of impediment, right? They're able to move forward. Yeah. System demo. The principle 4, right? Build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycles is a principle 4. Now the system demo is is actually enabling that, right? The whole system can be integrated and demonstrated. What is my role as a Scrum Master? I make sure that we incrementally build it, and we make sure within iteration, we are incrementally building. And definitely at the end of iteration, if not in the middle, at least the end of the iteration, we deliver something, we check in something, right? That is actually very good quality code that can be integrated as a whole system, right? I make sure that I enable the system. And now that I'm able to deliver the end of iteration, over a period, we start asking our teams, hey guys, why can't we deliver? Why can't we have some chunks like end of every week we will give something to system team? The gap between the team and the system team, can it be reduced by from 2 weeks to 1 week? Can it be reduced from 1 week to 3 days? Keep reducing it. So this is something that you can actually do. By doing this, you will see that system integration and the system demonstration will be much more powerful. Yeah. And the last one is inspect and adapt. Inspect and adapt is like iteration. In iteration, we have a retrospective. In safe framework, we have an inspect and adapt, which basically has a system level demo at the PI, the program level system demo, and then you have metrics, some metrics that you want to publish, and then you do a retrospective and problem solving. Now, you work with your teams, your Scrum Masters, and identify what the top 2 or 3 things that's actually failing our program, right? That we can actually go do deep root cause analysis and find the cause and find the action for it, right? Scrum Masters come together and collaborate and identify the top 2 or 3 problems that we need to really focus and remove, business problems, yeah, that we have seen in this PI that we want to eliminate, right? So that, and direct the whole team, right? I have seen Scrum Masters actually facilitating IND, a problem solving workshop for groups, right? And one Scrum Master can take 30, 40 people and say that, hey, I'm facilitating problem solving for this particular problem, right? Let's come together. That's your learning goes very high, right? By trying that. Second is you're making huge impact, not just to your team, but to the whole program, because you're helping people identify the root cause and fix the problem. Yeah. So these are all some critical roles of a Scrum Master in the collaborate, and executing the PI. Right. The last one, role of a Scrum Master in a cultural transformation. So for me, I make it like, some of you would have seen this. I still want to probably repeat it. The transformation goes in 3 layers. Yeah. The outermost layer is process and practices. Right. For example, iteration planning, backlog refinement, daily Scrum, review, retrospective, right? User story writing, right? And then story point estimation, right? My code review, right? Testing. These are all process and practices. All that will give you result, but it's a small result. If you're not good in process and practice, first step is to get into the process level transformation and make sure that all these processes are practices are working fine. Now, is that enough? No. The result that you get from the process is minimal. So now the next step is definitely structural transformation. What does structural transformation mean? Structural agility is, I as a Scrum Master, am I doing my job? Are we making sure that, am I making sure that my product owner is actually effective product owner? Is my team cross-functional? Is my team, able to learn and, work with each other? Right? Do I have all other roles, my supporting functions and all that, are they doing the right thing? So these are all called structural transformation. What's the role of a manager in an agile team, right? So all this clearly defining it. Yeah. Third is, so you have an opportunity to bring a structural agility in your team and you're in your art. First is in your team, is my team cross-functional? What does cross-functional mean? My team is cross-functional as a team. Now I'm also focusing on building every individual cross-functional. I have a team which has UI skills, backend skills, testing skills and automation skills and so on. Now I'm also focusing on building my UI developer also knowing a little bit of backend code. My tester can do a little bit of automation. It's called T skills. Over a period, you build Pi skills. Over a period, you build, COM skills, right? This is structural agility. You have a great opportunity to focus, right? There's a second one. All that you need to do is you focus on your team. That will give you a wonderful result. Now, once you experience, now that is where your organizational agility, your contribution comes, where at the art level, you can actually say that this is what I tried. Why don't you also try? I can handhold one of the Scrum Masters to implement this, right? This is the second one. Third is really cultural transformation. Cultural transformation is the only transformation that sustains. Yeah. Some examples of cultures are this: fast, fail fast, quality, decentralized, right? Decision making, as a culture, high performance culture, delivering incremental value to customer, openness, trust. There are quite a few cultures. Identify a culture that is not working for you in your team. Fail fast is the team is so scared of failure, right? They want to be perfect. Work on fail fast. If the team doesn't have ownership, right? They fail and they don't learn, and then they don't really improve. Work on ownership culture, right? And you as now you pick a culture and you look at which structure can help you, right? Product owner can help in quality of a backlog. The engineering team can help you in quality of the code, quality of design. My architect can help in quality of architecture. Now take help in a structure for that particular culture, and then bring practices. Quality is a problem. I'm going to bring probably in a BDD, a TDD, right? Automation, right? As a process, because my focus deep inside is a quality, right? If you focus this inside out, start with the culture. The last change that will happen is a culture. But the first thing you start with is cultural thinking. So which culture I want to focus? Focus on quality as a culture, identify the structure, which can help you, and define what the structure can do to improve culture as a quality, and then identify the process and practices to help. If you do this, actually you will see organization getting into the cultural transformation, right? And then it's a sustainable, right? This is not easy, but it's very beautiful if you clearly get into the deep and then implement. Yeah. So in summary, these are all the 5 aspects that definitely you should look at it. Enabling team and technical agility is the first. Look at your teams. Second is, now you are part of the SAFe, understand SAFe principles and live by it, right? You should remember as a Scrum Master, close your eyes and say that principle 5 is base milestones on objective evaluation of working systems. It's not by hearting. It is about understanding, imbibing the principle in you, right? Only then you can actually communicate this to people. Yeah. And your role definitely is very crucial in preparing and facilitating a PA planning, right? Which is one of the very critical elements in a program, in an art. Yeah. Then the moment the planning is done, execution is going to be smooth. We saw some couple of elements. Finally, right, cultural focus. Right. With these 5 elements, if you focus, trust me, actually, you can play a very critical role, and you will see magic's happening, and then you will see a great career for your own self. Yeah. So, okay, now good. I see that I'm kind of I have 5 more minutes, right? So, let me look at any questions. Okay. Okay. Any information before getting the questions? Any information you want to know about us, like about me or my organization, please go to our website. We are more consulting and training organization today, right? We focus a lot more on agility and scaling agility. Yeah. So now let me just get into questions. How Scrum Master incorporates lean and Scrum values within SAFe values? Yeah. So spoke about all of this. If you focus on these, understanding the principles very well, you'll actually get it. Yeah. Yeah. Values and principles of Scrum, right? The 5 values of Scrum, and then 4 values of SAFe, and then these 10 principles of SAFe. Actually, you will see that the magic happening. Yeah. Since SM is Scrum focus, I'm just reading one more question, that they might need to go beyond Scrum to system thinking lead. How can SM scale up and fit this gap as experience SM? Yeah, I think we have spoken about some of these points. Again, looking at opportunities in implementing SAFe principles, looking at opportunities that you can have in preparing in PI planning, understand SAFe very well. What is your role in preparing the PA planning? What does a PA planning mean? There are so many anti-patterns, right? That we have in this whole execution. SAFe doesn't work, doesn't mean that SAFe doesn't work. We have made it not work. We have injected so many anti-patterns that SAFe itself is failing. Yeah? So that is second one. So the next question, right? SM also has a gap in working in SAFes, and they don't know much about Kanban. How do you fix the gap? Learn. Right? It's simple. Kanban is a wonderful. It's Kanban is not come from just SAFe. Kanban has come from Lean. It's such a wonderful. The visualize and limit work in progress in principle 6. It's connected with Kanban. Right? How do you move the backlog from one end to another? Right? And if you learn Kanban, and if you understand, in fact, the Scrum board is a Kanban board. When started in progress and done is a simplest Kanban board. Program level Kanban can have 5 or 7 stages. Right? So learning a Kanban actually will help you better. Okay, let me move on to the next question. First official version of Scrum Guide was, no, it's not 2010. It was released in 1997. right? In 2001, in fact, the agile values have gone. So it's almost 25 years now. Yeah. How can Scrum SM incorporate DevOps mindset in SAFe? Yeah. So, yeah, do you understand DevOps? Right. First of all, right. Can I understand what is DevOps? Is not the tools. DevOps is a mindset. Yeah. It's a good question that you have put it. Do we understand first DevOps? What is Dev and Ops? How do we bring a DevOps? Right. DevOps brings in that lean flow is a DevOps. Right. Measuring and the automation of deployment is a DevOps, not automation of only your code test. Right. Automation of deployment is DevOps. So understand DevOps concepts, right? And that will actually once you understand, there is actually SAFe has got something called SAFe DevOps. It's a 2-day workshop, which goes very deep on continuous delivery pipeline. Yeah, it'll actually take you through step by step how do you implement DevOps and then bring organization as a DevOps. Yeah. Okay. Just going looking at next question. Ankit Singh. CSM would be appropriate for operations and maintenance person project. See, CSM will teach you Scrum, right? Very well. Right. So now question is about certification. So I'll have a quick answer. CSM is a Scrum certification. It will teach you Scrum. If you want to implement something big, look at SAFe. Like, I don't understand really what is your challenge. You should take certification which is connected to your problem. Yeah. So maybe offline, maybe I can guide you. Right. I don't understand your actual challenge. Don't do certification just for the sake, but it should solve your problem, right? It will actually help you. It gives you value that you're going to make a change in your organization. Yeah. Any certification for that matter. Okay. Might be a suggestion to record. Yes, I think it's been recorded. My team has already recorded. Yeah. So recording will definitely be shared. So I see that quite a few people have given, ask for this recording, right? We'll definitely get it, right? My team is here. They're watching and definitely they'll do that. Yeah. Is any difference between product and project scale? SAFe doesn't talk about project. SAFe is all about product mindset, right? What is the difference between project and product? Projects always have a short term. Somebody needs something, I will deliver that, I'm done with this. That's a project, right? I take a project from a customer for 3 months. After 3 months, the project is done. I handed over the code, I handed over the work, I moved out. Very short term thinking. SAFe brings in the product mindset, long term. Customer is buying a product from me. My product is being used by customer. The life of a product can be 20 years. Yeah. If you buy a car, how many years you use it? 10 years at least. Yeah. So the car manufacturing company is building a product for you, and then that is your collaboration with the company is 20 years. Yeah, 10 years. That is product. Right. So it's a huge difference, project and product, and SAFe focus a lot more on the long-term product thinking. Yeah. How Scrum Master can play in operations from business, right? Is it necessary to have a Scrum Master, right, from developer side? If you're a pure operations, you're more ticket based, right? I would suggest to learn Kanban. Kanban will actually help you better, yeah, than SAFe, than Scrum, right? Because it's more ticket based. You have for example, you have SLAs, right? Service level agreements that you have to adhere to in operations. Kanban will help you better. Yeah. And there are Kanban certifications that will actually help you understand Kanban principles, values and so on. It's a very beautiful thing to learn, right? Kanban is lean. Yeah. So lean is beautiful. Lean, the whole thing is, is so beautiful to learn and implement. Yeah. Next one, right? I am picking this question: how to deal with emerging obstacles during the sprint, especially when those obstacles clearly depicts that whatever was committed in PA are not achievable. Should the PA be cancelled? No, PA cancellation is not even a point to think. You committed something as a team and you could not deliver. And maybe you delivered 50%, 60, 70%. At the end of the PI, you will call it out that, hey, we delivered only 70% of what we committed. The remaining 30% is not delivered. Yeah. Now, what does it mean? The remaining 30% has to be planned in the next PA. So you don't have to disturb your PA, number one. Number two, there is a learning from here. Canceling a PA doesn't help. Yeah. From learning from a PA. Right. Now, you have to, this is where the inspect and adapt comes in, saying that what is that made us not deliver? What are the impediments that I should know? We should know next time that, we will, what are the root causes of this whole impediment that, that I need to work on so that, next time we don't get into it. So this is a great learning right? It's a learning organization should be continuous learning organization. One of the aspects of continuous learning organization is learning from failures, right? Canceling a PI, that means you'll end up canceling every PI, right? Because there's always a learning. There's always such failures coming, obstacles come on your way. Yeah. So I would say take an opportunity and really improve, right? Focus. Complete leading safe certification. Okay, Amit is asking about some certification. What should be done next to the become a Scrum Master? Or should I go through the implementation? There are multiple things you can do. If you are interested in learning safe implementation, SPC is a certification, right? It's a 4-day workshop, right? If you want to be very focused on Scrum Master, there are certifications like Safe Scrum Master, Safe Advanced Scrum Master, and so on, that can go a little more deep on a Scrum Master role, right? And if you think that will help you, please do that. And SPC is for those who implement safe. Like I'm an SPC, I implement safe in my consulting day in, day out, right? SPC really helps me. If you are one Amit like this, you're thinking about that, I would say that pick maybe SPC, or very focused on Scrum Master related. There is a safe Scrum Master, there is a safe Advanced Scrum Master, there is a DevOps related, there is a safe DevOps. Right? These all will give you learning. Yeah. Do we need to do KMP 1 and 2 certification? KMP 1 and 2 is actually good certification for Kanban. Yeah, it's a very reputed one. Yeah, so Kanban management professionals. It's actually good certification to learn. Yeah. Again, see, when I say certification, please get into learning and implementing. Right, certification is a paper finally. Yeah. So what is important is you learn from that and then you implement back in your work. That's the power of certification, right? The certification will give you structured learning in the 2 days, 3 days. After that, am I implementing those values back in my office? That's important. So select the right one and then really learn and put this back in your system. Yeah. Can SM be from a business side? SM is a behavior, in my view, right? SM is certain. Scrum Master has certain characteristics that should you be a technical, extremely good technical? Not. What is more important is SM a person who likes help removing impediment. Is SM a person who likes process, right? Following a process, right? If such a person comes, is SM a person who can collaborate with the team, bring some new thoughts, right? SM is a person who can question teams and then make people think, right? A team think much more deep. If the person comes from business side, comes from technical, doesn't matter, can be SM. A great technical person, but without having these attributes, I have seen miserably failing in SM role. So SM is not about technical skills, or SM is not about business skills. It's about the way you bring learning, you bring improvement into the team, right? And you are a believer of a process and, making a change, so on. Yeah. Is safe a good practice for a support project? Not a project. Say, safe is always a long term. It's a product, right? If you think you are able to sustainably plan for 3 months, if you are able to see a long term roadmap, right? At least next to 6 to 9 months of roadmap minimum, safe will actually help you, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a hardware product, software product, whatever it is, even services, safe can help you if you have such a guideline, right? Which is a long term. Yeah. Vinita is asking a question: do we have a particular way in which DSU meeting to carry it? DSU's daily stand-up there is no such specific that there are certain guidelines. One is keep it time boxed, make sure people talk and then share with each other. It is not to update. I'm updating to somebody. I'm sharing where I am as a how we are progressing as a team. Are we moving towards our iteration goals and so on? And then keep it time boxed. Take all the other discussions offline. I think if you do that and manage a team of 9 people, do it in less than 15 minutes, actually you're doing good. If you're doing 20, 30, 40 minutes, you have an area to really focus and improve. Because every day you are wasting some time of team. Yeah. Do SPC, play an agile coach role and go-to person for Scrum Master and safe. SPC is a safe program consultant. Yeah. So this will actually enable you to think as a consultant, can I go and help in implementing safe in an art, right? And based on your experience, if you have very good experience in software engineering, why not? You can actually be a coach. Yeah, I've seen a good experienced people getting into this and then becoming a coach, right? I have seen a Scrum Master learning SP, doing SPC, and then doing very effective Scrum Master role, becoming a very senior coach, right, in the last 6 years. Right, one of my ex-colleagues is a very good coach today because constant learning. Right, so certification will help you to start. After that, it's your effort to really focus and improve. Yeah. What do you do? What to do when the management is too focused on doing hardening sprints, cycle separately? No, this is a clear anti-pattern. Hardening is a waterfall. That means what? I build something for a very long time and suddenly I'll do at the end, I will do hardening. I'll do a lot of testing at the end. Anything you do a lot of one thing at a time is a waterfall, right? Removes her symptoms. Yeah, that's bad, right? It's a clear anti-pattern that you're not agile. Safe House of Lean recommends product mindset. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Is project management experience required for SM role? If you have it, see, Scrum Master is not a project manager, right? I told you, right, Bharat, I was telling you in the beginning. Scrum Master is not a project manager. Scrum Master is a unique role. If you have attributes, certain behavioral attributes of a Scrum Master, you will learn over a period. You don't have to be worried about it. And very good project managers don't succeed as a Scrum Master because they don't have those attributes. There are Scrum project managers, they know how to get the work done. Scrum Master job is not to get the work done. Making sure that the team is agile, making sure that they are self-organized, they are cross-functional, right? It's much more holistic. So if you're interested in all those, I think you will learn it, Okay, how to imbibe the process and practices if the team member is hesitant to follow? Influential. This is a behavior of a Scrum Master. Influential. I will continuously try to make an influence in my team so that they understand the importance of it. First time they may not, second time they may not. Over a period they will. Yeah. Okay, so time is over. So I'm going to quickly take one or two more and then we will stop. Yeah. Okay, how to imbibe process. I think we've spoken about it. Okay, as as a Scrum Master, how to help the leadership understand forcing the art on 100% capacity utilization for a feature development without caring for innovation, right? Experimentation or even implement. Yeah. Influential. Yeah. See, what I do is I do one thing like, making a working agreement with leaders, right? When I implement SAFe, I tell them that, there are certain guidelines you need to follow as part of SAFe, right? Now, for example, having a IP iteration, which will give a space for innovation, which will give a space for learning, which will give a space for preparation for the PA planning, right? And that gives you some space for like on capacity utilization, 100% utilization is a disaster. Our goal is not to load our teams 100%, but our goal is to make sure that deliver value fast. The house of lean, right? The roof of house of lean. If you have gone through SAFe, it says roof of house of lean is a value, and the definition of value is shortest sustainable lead time. I deliver value to customer in a very short time, right? That's the house of lean, right? Now, productivity is delivering value to customer. Productivity is not utilizing my team 100%. It's see, you saw that cars, right, on the road. Road is 100% utilized, isn't it? Did you see that? Very beautifully, road is utilized. Is it productive? No. The real productivity is when we are able to deliver value fast. The cars are able to move fast. For that, you need to have some capacity, right? 100% utilization is bad. That's why in SAFe also you see in a PI planning, we do committed and uncommitted objectives, right? This is one of the ways of bringing predictability. Maybe 10-15% of the capacity is kept as uncommitted objective, which is planned but not committed, so that you remain in committed, you will deliver for sure. If you are able to deliver, you'll also deliver uncommitted, right? IP iteration is one of the ways of bringing predictability because there is some capacity kept beyond just product development, right? Innovation and planning, right? And not loading people with 100%, my team's velocity is 20, but I load them with 25 story points. That's not allowed in SAFe. No? When I say, if the team is committed, yes, we will deliver, I'll go with this. But historically, if the team has been delivering 20, I'll actually ask, why do you want to commit to 25 if you think you could deliver only 20, right? So these are the things that we should definitely ask question for ourselves. Yeah. Okay, team. So thank you so much for your time, right? So I know it's more than it's 8:15 now. I think close to 8:15. So I think it was great having all of you in this. And even beyond 8 o'clock, after 1 hour, you're still listening to me. It's my pleasure having you part of this. Yeah, we will have this video recording kept in our YouTube channel. We'll make sure that if you want to watch again, you can always watch. Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for spending your time with me in the last 1 hour or so. Right, have a great evening and be safe. Okay, thank you so much.